Hey guys, how are you? Today I'm going to do another 3 videos on different areas and different activities of what children actually learn in those areas, and how doing these activities with them is like highly beneficial because they learn so much and gain so much knowledge from them. So today's is going to be about the first one is going to be about cooking, what they learn for cooking. So the children learn by watching you, and then they put that into play what you're doing. So like by leading by example, and they see you mixing things, breaking eggs into a bowl, mixing it with sugar and milk. They learn to understand that each component makes a concept, and they learn the techniques of how to do it by watching. So that's how I learned as a kid as well as learning and doing it at the same time. And so here's some more things. So I'm just going to read from down here. So it promotes literacy, numeracy. Children make sense of symbols representing information. It's an opportunity for them to learn like different cultures, foods, and different customs, and when you have these certain foods and why. It might be Christmas time, it could be like Thanksgiving if you're American, it could be like a hangi or Māori, it could be some special food for a different culture. They learn when you have those foods, it's not like every day, and which ones is like it's special because they're for those specific times, and might have them at special places as well. And they learn how to use tools and equipment, like how to hold them, how to like manipulate them to use and to mix things, which is really cool. And then by doing it, they learn how to be like a master of it. And it's a technique. It's like holding a pencil and stuff. You got to learn how to hold it the right way, not to put too much pressure, and it's valuable skills. It's also science, with bread, yeast, and so with yeast bread rises, for example, and like a cake rises with certain ingredients, and with like cooking, you grow in relationships because your grandma cooks, your dad might cook and stuff, and you learn the skills that they teach you over the years, and it can be a generational thing, which is really neat. Like there are like recipes and things that people cook for years and years and years, and they pass it down generations, and it's like a special thing. It helps them to also follow instructions, so they follow it to a T as they go. They learn how to get things right by trying and trying and trying. So that's like repetitiveness, and we're never perfect with what we do straight away. Well, some people are, but not always everyone else. So you learn by perfecting things as you go, right equal amounts of ingredients and how to stir things properly, and the cooking time, everything. You become a master of that, like your master chef. So that's really cool. And it develops your concentration skills. You get so focused in it as well to do it right, and you have pride in what you're making. So that's cool. It also increases the language and the techniques they use. They get an understanding of like conservation and where products come from, not just the supermarket. Flour, like how do you get flour? It's not just off like your supermarket shelf. Like milk comes from a cow. Butter. Ingredients come from a cow. So learn the measurements and the volumes, which is like maths and quantities, and not to put too much in, to put too much out, like a ingredient. Otherwise, the cake might not rise, or it might taste a bit floury, or Cooking develops all 5 senses. Smell, touch, taste. You got to listen to instructions and like sight. It encourages kids to also try things themselves and try new things and be experimental and explore. and they learn how the process goes. Step 1, do this. Step 2, you might cream the butter. Step 3 might, get the wet ingredients done. And step 4 might be add everything together and then mix it into a bowl, and then, set the timer for the oven, turn it on and get it warmed up. And they also learn about, with cooking, nutrition, what foods are really good for their bodies and what aren't, from veggies and fruit. They learn through cooking, making salads and stuff like that. Because you can't have cake every day. It's not healthy unless it's a healthy cake. It helps them also to help other kids, once they've learned something they can teach that on it. It's social cultural learning. That's really important because even animals do it, chimpanzees do it. Learn and teach each other this thing, and humans do that all the time. I learn from other people and then I teach them stuff, and they've learned from someone else over the years. So, that's important skills, and that's like life. They learn also how to, increase their self-esteem through being able to do things. It enhances their confidence, so they can, they can share things with others. I made these cookies instead of buying them from the shop. You can make them healthy as well. So, it gives them a sense of contribution and belonging as well, because they've found that they've done something. And it's good, and they'll want to keep doing it, which is a good feeling. It's a positive feeling as well. So, yeah. So, here's some tips for today for cooking and, for what children learn. And just remember these things when, if a kid wants to cook and you're not really interested. But, there's a lot of learning that goes through this. So that's highly important. And your kids learn, and they grow to be adults, and they can pass it on to their kids and their grandchildren. So, yeah. So think about that. I'll catch you later. Bye.